So recording starting now.
Hello, and welcome back again, honey. Yes, I have been on my own hiatus, honey, but I am here, and I am queer, and I am ready to talk, baby. We have one of my really good friends, one of my babies, Michael Hurd.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I am great, sweetie. How are you? Got your chest all out, glistening and things.
Well, I'm just coming from the gym. I couldn't miss this interview with you. So,
Honey, you out here tempting the people, child, tempting the people.
well, just being me.
Ah, yes, and we are going to get into you being you, because that's one of the messages that I absolutely love about you and your platform is that free to be me. And
Yes,
I think that is a really great movement, and especially in the LGBT community. So I would really love you to go into some detail and some explanation on even how you got here.
right. Well, it has definitely been a long journey. And my goal is to help people to find their most authentic selves and to live that truth every day. That is my daily mission. I say that every single day in the mirror to myself, that my goal, my mission is to make sure that I help people find their most authentic selves and to live that truth. For me, as you already know, I was raised in strict church, right?
Yes.
I was raised in Pentecostalism, specifically in the Churches of God in Christ. And I would never change anything about my upbringing because it really helps me to be who I am. That's why I'm really strong in living my truth today, because I've been introduced to a real God, right? But also, as well, as much as it empowered me, it also crippled me. Because when you're raised in religion, you're taught, especially if you're gifted, you're taught by your religious community how to choose image over authenticity,
Mm,
and how things look over how things really are.
I agree.
And so, for me, I was raised to lie. I was raised to make things seem a certain way because I'm a gifted and I'm anointed to do, to do different things. What we would consider ministry, I consider it just empowering people. Um, I was always taught that, hey, if people see you like this, they'll never be able to receive your gift.
Right.
That was a very common line that was repeated to me for many years. If people see you cussing and acting a fool, they're never going to be able to see you direct the choir, or if they see you direct the choir, they won't be able to receive it. Or if they see you preaching or ministering or praying, they won't be able to, see it. So I could never really live my truth of who I really am. I'm growing up. Even in school, I had to be different. I could not participate in the things that other people were doing. I wasn't allowed to go to dances, even though I did sneak and go. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things because I was a young preacher, and I was always in ministry. Jay, I entered ministry at the age of 5, literally. Public ministry at the age of 5. I was a Sunshine Band, which is the youth choir director at 5. And I traveled all over the state of Ohio, where I'm from. And it was just crazy because that's all I ever knew. All I ever knew. So I never got a chance to really be myself. And one of the things I've learned about growth, about evolution, about matriculation, is that unless you are grounded in a foundation of truth, you never grow in a healthy manner. This is why you see so many people that become great or they become success and then they lose it over scandal, or they lose it over drama, or they lose it over mental and emotional issues because they never have the opportunity to matriculate the correct way.
So
Like,
I have a question.
go ahead. Yes.
You speak about your truth.
Right.
And you and I, we actually have very much so similar stories, very parallel to one another. As
Right.
far as being in ministry and being
Right.
that kid, I led every solo that I possibly could. Okay,
Right.
so I definitely understand where you come from. My mom being the pastor, and you know, I
Right.
get it, totally get it. But there was something that you were just saying about truth.
Right.
And you being in your truth. Can you
Right.
please explain and tell us how did you get to that point? Because I think that's really, really important. People can see
Yeah.
the truth, they can know the truth, but it's
Right.
hard to live in it. So how did you embrace that thing?
Well, first of all, let me state what my truth is.
Okay, hey, yeah, please
So,
tell. Please
so
tell.
we know in Christendom, everything is forgivable except, homosexuality. That's just the truth. Like, people can get up in church and testify and say, I murdered 10 people, but I've been delivered, and everybody will go crazy, But the second that you get up and say, I'm gay or I'm bisexual, and for me, I've always considered myself bisexual because I was always attracted to, to men and women. However, as an adult now, 42, I understand that my true sexuality is I'm pansexual, which means I'm attracted to men, women, men, and trans women. We'll talk about that. And so, and I got receipts to prove it. But anyway, so that was my truth. However, that was the truth that was unacceptable by the church.
Absolutely.
The community where I thrived the most was the place that I could not be myself the most, right?
Right.
So growing up, this is what I love about God, is when God really when you come into a real relationship with God, the first thing that God requires from us is honesty. This is why I tell pastors, if you don't want gay people to start coming out in your church, then you need to stop worship. Because the first thing the anointing of worship does is cause people to tell the truth.
Wow.
And that's just honest. You want to keep them in the closet? Keep them shouting, keep them dancing, keep them running, keep them flipping and doing all, keep that. But the moment you get into worship, the first thing that it's going to do is require people to start telling the truth about themselves.
Yes, sir.
Because you cannot worship God in spirit and in truth and not tell the truth.
I don't hear nobody. I don't hear nobody.
So the spirit of worship comes to bring the spirit of truth, because in truth lies healing, in truth lies real deliverance, in truth lies, evolution, so you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I am starting to embrace it. The more I would go to church and worship and worship God and then practice that at home, the more I kept feeling horrible about not being honest. And I kept saying, okay, God already knows that I'm bisexual and I like guys and girls. God already knows this. Like, why am I worried about what people think? Now that's a many-year process that I went through that.
Absolutely.
But that's what planted the seed in me.
And you know what? And it's so good to hear you say a lot of these things, because these are a lot of the things that preachers are not preaching. These are a lot of things that the preachers are not saying, and not to horn in necessarily on the church itself, but however, they'll use us in the LGBT community as long as we're playing their organs, as long as we're directing their choirs, as long as we're singing on their praise teams, then it's acceptable. But and as long as we get your offering. Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
And so I think there is a fine line and a very thin line that people that walk with this, that they, that religion thing is big, and then who you are is big. And so I love the fact that you have merged the two together, and you're comfortable and you're happy, and come to an understanding and a realization who God is to you. And
Right.
that's what I really, really wanted people. And that's why this interview is actually so important to me, because I knew you were the right person to deliver this particular message. And especially being the first person of this caliber, and me wanting to promote the LGBT community. This was the perfect thing, because I think religion is a big part of who we are, but it's also what holds us back as well. So,
Right. You know, I was talking to my mom last night, and my mom is a pastor as well. And she said to me, she said, I just know that one day, your relationship with God is going to be strong again. And, God is going to get the glory out of your life. And I stopped her. I said, Mom, no disrespect. I said, but my relationship with God is the strongest it's ever been.
Ever been.
But
I'm in my truth.
Exactly. But because you can't see what you want to see in me, then it invalidates to you everything that God is actually doing in me. And my mom knows I'm right. Like
Right.
She knows, but because again, we're raised in atmospheres where I'm the type of person, and a very famous preacher about 2 years ago told me this. They said, Mike, very famous. We all know him. We all love him. And the world embraces them. They said, Mike, they said, if you want to be rich and like quick, you want to be a multimillionaire, they said, all you got to do is publicly get up and denounce homosexuality. And you will be on every platform, every stage. You will be in every conference. You will be in everything if you could only do that. And what they said was the truth, because I'm the type of dude that I could pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could get a girl.
Absolutely.
I could get a girl. And she would be a bad, I don't know if you're allowed to cuss, but she would be a bad,
yes, she would.
She would be
yes,
bad.
She would.
And we could do the whole entire First Lady hat, are we dressing alike, taking pictures? I could do that. And because I'm anointed, people would want that, and white and evangelicals who are against homosexuality, they would embrace it as well, because they know my history of being open about my sexuality. So if I got up to denounce it, I would be everywhere. However, it would cost my soul.
Wow, yes.
It would cost my soul. And then I have friends like you who are gender non-conforming.
Yes.
What would that say to them? People who have followed me because I live my truth, and then all of a sudden now, because I want money, and believe me, I want the money because I miss the good money I used to make preaching. But I want money, so I value that over living an honest and integral life? No. And it's hard some days. I will tell you that it's hard. And some days I do wish that I did not come out. Some days I wish, like, man, my life could be so much easier financially if I just had this. But then I think about how much I would contemplate suicide, and how much I would contemplate, or how much I would struggle with depression because I'm not living my truth. And God spoke to me, and God said, listen, because you live your truth, I'm going to reward you, and your time will come. So I'm just waiting for my season.
Listen, I'm waiting for mine too. I recently experienced something this weekend where I decided to go ahead and go back to church and try to figure some things out in my own life.
Right.
And church has been so rooted and grounded in me that if
right.
I'm away from it for so long, I feel like I'm missing something.
Right.
But this particular pastor, who I love so much, Pastor Jones, of the Rehab Church of Atlanta.
Yes, good pastor, very good pastor.
So much, and so I'm up under his leadership.
Good.
I sung on the praise team this Sunday twice for the back in position. Let me say that.
Right.
And before service was over, he just publicly was like, Jay, I just want you to know that you look real good singing up here.
Awesome. Yes.
It put such, because I looked like this. This is exactly how I looked. I didn't change anything. I didn't do anything different because that would have been a lie.
Exactly.
That would have been a complete lie. So I came up, and he embrace me and still love me where I'm at. And that says multitudes about a person that is in that type of position, that is in that type of leadership.
Right.
I mean, what could you ask for more? You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful now that I'm experiencing something a little bit different in my walk with Christ now than I was, earlier on,
Right.
a little bit understood a little bit better. I agree with you. I feel like because I'm honest, because I know who I am, because I'm not hiding from the world, because I'm not living a double life, because I'm not doing any of those things, I feel like God would accept me a whole lot more than that person who is in the church, and actually not living worth a hill of beans at all. Or they're portraying this whole little situation. It's not true. We've heard so many, women, for so many first ladies come out, my husband is gay. My husband is, sleeping with a multitude of women, and it's so disheartening on the church.
Right. And it looks bad because we have painted this picture. I even have ladies all over this country, well, at least 5, but they're scattered all over the country, who I counsel with on a monthly basis. They know their husband is gay. They stay with them for the sake of the church, for what it looks like for the church. And they come to me because they know that I'm able to give them insight and help them, and to help them to be able to deal with the fact that, we're legally married, but he has a boyfriend, or he has, another partner. And because I am not only am I pansexual, but I'm also polyamorous. So I believe that people have to be able to live their truth, but not drag someone else who's not ready for your truth into the scenario. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I
and
totally
I think
agree.
not all, I don't want to say all, but a lot. And most of my preacher friends who are not out are living that type of life. And that just does not work for Mike Hurd, because I need to be able to be honest.
Absolutely.
And so we have to get to a place, Jay, where we value honesty over gifts and anointing and popularity and money. We like truth. We have to get back to God, and God is truth.
Absolutely.
However messy we look at the truth, or we think the truth is, tell me the truth, and I can process it,
and I can go on from there.
Yeah.
But you did give me a little truth, so I want you to go into this truth that you did give, honey, because you've been spilling a little tea on yourself, honey. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, because I know people was like, wait, what did he say? So he did say that, he is a pansexual and that he is polyamorous.
Right. I am.
So can we dig a little bit into that and
Yes.
talk a little bit more into how you got there and then what that means for you?
Right. So I did not know what the word polyamorous was, 5 years ago. I didn't know, actually 4 years ago, I probably didn't even know what the word polyamorous was. I just knew I was a cheater. I would be in a relationship, but I would want to have sex with other people.
But you don't mind telling your own dirt, huh?
No, not at all. And so it would be a desire in me to be in a relationship and be committed to that one person and would love that one person, but I would still feel a very strong sexual desire towards other people. And we're raised in a society where monogamy is the norm. That's our society. We go to other countries, polyamory is a normal way of life. In Greek culture, polyamory is a normal way of life. And I used to look at myself and be like, what in the hell is wrong with you? Like, you got a good person. Why are you cheating? Like, you're a horrible, horrible, horrible human. But what made me horrible was not the desire to have sex with other people. It was not telling the other person what I really wanted.
Truth.
Up front.
Back to truth.
Back to truth.
Uh-huh.
So once I learned what polyamory was, it helped me to understand who I am. Now, there's a difference between being polyamorous and being polygamous, or or polygamy. I don't know if I'm a polygamist, but I do know that I'm polyamorous. So let me give you the difference. Polyamorous is basically you are in a committed relationship with one person, but you all may have sex with other individuals, whatever that may look like. You may do it together, or you may have what we call like solo projects, where you're allowed to go out and be sexually with another person, but you cannot commit your life to building a life with them, right? Polygamy means that I'm allowed to have multiple partners. That means just like I'm committed to one person, I'm committed to another person. I don't think polygamy will work for me because I don't like being accountable to a whole bunch of people. So I know that polyamory is for me, but maybe not polygamy. And I never say never, because you never know what life is going to bring down the road. So I'm very honest. So I go into, my relationship, stating like, this is who I really am. I don't believe in monogamy for me. I believe in monogamy for other people if that's who authentically they are.
Right.
But since I've been honest and open about being polyamorous, thousands of people have reached out to me. And if anyone ever broke into my DMs on my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, they would know this. Thousands of people all over this world have reached out to me and was like, oh my God, I'm polyamorous too. Many marriages have been saved just because, the guy who was polyamorous played one of my videos for his wife, and then come to find out she was polyamorous too. Wow. But both of them were scared to tell each other, and now they have a wonderful marriage. I hear that so many times.
And let me tell you guys, I have witnessed it. Mike has shown me some of those messages on road trips, and I'm telling you, some of the responses that he really gets, honestly, genuinely, is phenomenal. Like,
yeah, because you know what people want, Jay? People really want to tell the truth, but they're afraid.
And there's no atmosphere for people to do so. There's not a safe space for people
exactly.
to do that.
You know what? One of the hardest things to do is to counsel a couple who have dealt with with lies, right? Because let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So recently I was counseling a couple, a heterosexual couple, and the lady was like, oh my God, all he do is lie. He just lies and lies and lies. And I mean, she was just, twirling her neck and just doing the whole thing.
Giving you black girl magic, baby.
Baby, and it was all in her hair, and and I could tell she was hurt, right? Like,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
And as a counselor, as a certified counselor, I was thinking, my job is to help them both. How do I navigate this? And once she got done and she was able to get it all out, I asked them first, I said, are you ready for the truth? And she said, yes, that's what I want. I want the truth. I said, the reason he lies to you is because you don't make it safe for him to tell the truth. She was mad as hell. She was like, you're not going to put this on me? I didn't raise him to be no lie. I said, no one lies because they just lie. People lie because they're scared. So she didn't come back to me for about a month. 1 month later, she reached out to me and she said, you are right. She said, I never gave him a chance to even be honest because every time he would tell me the truth, I would blow up.
Wow.
You can't expect your spouse to tell you the truth, and every time they're honest with you, you act a effing fool. Like no one's ever going to be honest with you. Every time, like even your kids, if your kid will come to you and say, I was in school today, and I was doing X, Y, and Z, and you're like, oh my God, they're never going to tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
Because when people are afraid, they lie. That's the only reason people lie, including 46 minus 1. And we know he is the liar of the lies. But he does that because he's afraid of something. Now, what it is, we don't know. You know, we don't know if it's his constituents. We don't know if he made promise that he can't keep. We don't know, but it's all based in fear. Right, it's all based in fear. So we have to get back to the point of what are we really afraid of? For me, Jay, I was afraid of being rejected by the only community that I ever fit in, and that was church.
And you know, that's the crazy part about it, right? Because this is community that we know. This is the community that we grew up in. And then there's an embrace of love that we expect because that's what we're taught, that God is
Right.
love, that he's love, that he's love,
Right.
love. And those are things that are always repeated. But
Right.
I tell my kids quite often, my mouth can say anything. What are my actions doing? And so I think once that was not a part of it,
Right.
it just made me feel some type of way because
Right.
I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted
Right.
to accepted. I didn't necessarily, you know, I get you may not agree with it. I get you may not like it, but I'm being honest, I'm being truthful. And I feel like if God was going to change or is going to change anything about me, that he can do it in this position here. Then I'm honest and I'm telling the truth and I'm telling you this is how I feel. This is how I feel, you know, this is what I'm comfortable in. This is what
Right.
you know. So I listen. I will always be, and I tell you this all the time, I will always be one of your number one fans. And I say because Mr. Monty has the number one spot. So I'm going to come right up under that besides your mama. And I'm come up under that, okay? Okay? So, but you guys, I definitely want you to go out and please check out all of his social medias.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I tell you.
I'm ratchet because I'm living my truth. So
Okay. Those of you guys who can't handle that, just stay on his Facebook page.
Stay on Facebook.
Yeah,
but if you
those of you who, since I done said it, gonna go visit anyway. Listen, I just really want y'all to understand. Like one of the things that really connected me to this young man, honestly, has been his love for people. His love for the community, and standing in his truth. And that has been one of the biggest things that I have loved ever since this man has walked in my life. And understand, he had contacted me on the fly, asking me to take a picture. And I was not expecting our relationship to blossom as much as it did.
Yeah.
Because truth of the matter, guys, started off as a crush. I ain't gonna tell you, I don't know. But it was when I did meet you, it was no longer the crush. It was, this person is freaking fracking amazing. And you opened my eyes to so many avenues and so many things. And me and my bae even have conversations on topics that you post or things that you say. And I love that because you create dialogue for people. And that's so important. That is so, especially in this day and time. Conversation, communication is very, very, very important. So before we wrap up, can you leave us with some really encouraging words and also tell us where we can find you at as well?
Yeah. So all of my social media, no matter what it is, and let me state this because there are a lot of fake pages out there of me. The only ones I have, and this is it, is Love and Light TV, period. If there's anything added to it, if there's a underscore anywhere, period anywhere, no, it's just Love and Light TV. Period. You know?
Period.
Right. And so, but let me say this for everybody who is on that journey to be their most authentic self. Don't stop. Surround yourself with people that celebrate you, the real you, that know you. And what we did not talk about was, after I had everything in ministry and being a preacher, I had to lose it all in order for me to be able to find my truth. But losing everything caused me to find everything.
Yes. Oh, I felt that. Oh, yeah.
And I may be rebuilding my life right now, but I'm happy and I have peace and I'm in a good place. So don't stop the journey. Surround yourself with people that love you, the real you, and that will support you. You deserve to be happy. And that even means sometimes letting go of family. There was a season, my mom and I are close now, but there was a season for about 10 years where we weren't, and that was hard. but I got through it, and we're better than ever. So, you know, just keep going and know that everything's going to work out for you.
So you guys, this will probably be the first of many for him because I just feel like he has so much to give. And I know that we have a time limit. So I definitely want to thank you so very much from the bottom
Thank
of my heart
you.
for being on, for being my friend. I
Love
mean,
you.
you have been a great friend, and I really appreciate that. So you guys, make sure you go check out Michael Hurd, and make sure you tune in every Tuesday to Urbanish TV, where you will find me, J.
I love it. Thank you, baby.
Love you.
Right. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.